Hi, my name is Anne-Marie Kuntz, and this is my Module 12, Tort Liability. Tort liability is the obligation legally of one party to the victim resulting from a civil wrong or injury, according to Black's Law Dictionary. Osborne asserts that there are two major categories of torts typically observed within the education-related cases: intentional torts as well as negligence. For this model, I studied 5 cases. The first case I studied was Frame versus Camus, wherein we had a school teacher that was actually acting as a substitute teacher for a class. And during the course of this class, a spelling test was given wherein some kids were messing around and 2 were asked to leave, and a few were asked to leave and they left because they were being disruptive. Then later in the class, during the testing time, another student spoke out. The teacher asked the student to leave. The student didn't get up to leave. He was asked twice, and then as the teacher went and approached the student, the teacher grabbed the student by the upper arm, and the case says by a combined set of actions, what happened was the student was off balance and was caused to stumble backwards down the aisle where he hit a podium and eventually came to a halt against the blackboard. Of course, charges were filed, which is why it's a case, and then in the case, the court sided on the side of the school district, and they cited that the student's actions were apparently sufficient to provoke the teacher to forcefully to remove the student at this time. Some reactive measures to this incident would be disciplinary action for the teacher while an investigation of the incident could happen. The proactive measures would be review of effective supervision techniques in all educational environments, whether it's your own class or if you're covering for someone else, and also to how to ask for support from other personnel for student discipline issues. This could have been avoided had someone else been asked to come in and help. It would have been another set of eyes as well as another calm head. Professional ethics for this case are, first, we should always act in the best interest of our students, whether that is how we're proceeding, how we're disciplining, and then how the school district decides to discipline, if any, is needed here. And also, the other professional ethic in play here is a safe educational environment for all students. The second case that I studied for this module was Munn versus Hotchkiss School, wherein a group of students took a trip to China, and while there, one of the students on the summer trip was bitten by a tick as they were hiking, and then in turn got encephalitis, which caused severe neurological damage and actually left the student unable to speak. A suit was brought against the school, citing that first the school failed to warn the parents that on this trip their daughter could encounter some of these risks like the ticks, as well as failing to ensure that their daughter took corrective steps or preventative measures like bug repellent and things like that. A jury awarded the family $10 million in economic damages as well as $31.5 million in non-economic damages. In this case, reactive measures could be safety measures that are approved for trips beforehand. What are the safety measures that need to take place, as well as a safety protocol for any incident while on a trip of this size. Proactive measures could be better communication about possible risks so that the parents were in the loop, perhaps waivers to be signed, and then also, again, making sure there's clear communication about those safety protocols. If an incident occurs, what the steps will be. The professional ethics that pertain to this case are maintaining safety of all educational environments, whether you're in a 4-wall classroom or somewhere else. And the other professional ethic is the need for clear procedures and instructions for all students so that they understand the expectations. My third tort case was NM versus the Anchorage School District. In this case, the student is simply named NM for confidentiality reasons. And in this case, one day as a young student, he was 6, was carrying out a Mother's Day craft that he had made in class. He said goodbye to his teacher and was hurriedly getting to his mom as he was carrying this gift, and it says, as the boy ran to his mom, he tripped and fell. The mom was standing on the sidewalk waiting for him, and as he fell, there were a bunch of little pine shrubs, and these saplings acted as skewers, basically, like bayonets is what the case calls them. And it says one of the sticks penetrated the child's eye socket, which then jabbed into the child's front lobe of his brain, which permanently altered his life. In this case, the district was found negligent, and the family was awarded money. Some reactive measures here would be increased duty personnel, perhaps for these pickup duty times. Also a review of safety procedures for the pickup duty. Some other proactive measures could be safety procedures for student pickup, including duty, as well as safety procedures for the students. Also specific boundaries for the school versus public space. In this case, it doesn't determine or at least distinguish if it was on school property or off school property where this happened. But that would be something important to provide information to everywhere, as well as more clear communication to parents in what those procedures for picking up are and where the school responsibility ends and where the parent responsibility begins. Professional ethics tied to this case are maintenance issues. Is there a reason that the student tripped? It didn't detail anything like cracks in the sidewalk or something like that, but again, maintenance issues specifically on school property, and then also the reporting of incidents. It's important that all reporting protocol was followed when an incident like this occurs at a school. The next case that I studied was Cormier versus City of Lynn. And in this court case, a student was pushed down the stairs by another student in a public school. And the parents then brought suit against the district, and they claimed that the school didn't provide proper duty, so that they were negligent, as well as they were negligent because they did not follow their own bullying protocols. The parents had reported bullying issues previously, and their claims were that the school district did not take these bullying claims seriously. However, the courts found the school was not liable under the tort claims for their state, and mainly because what happened with the school, and specifically this class, was not something that materially contributed to the students' injuries. Some reactive measures for this case are, first of all, what kind of student discipline can happen in this sort of case when one student does injure another student, whether intentionally or not. A review of safety procedures for students in all walkways, just hallways as well as staircases. Bullying reports also just reactively making sure that all staff understand how seriously these are to be taken. Proactive measures could be reviewing and then making sure there's clear communication about bullying reporting procedures and what should be done when bullying is reported. Safety protocol, again, for the school, if an incident does occur, what is the protocol so that those proper steps are being followed, as well as perhaps increased duty personnel for transition times or times in areas of high risk, perhaps like the stair area. Professional ethics tied to this case are the proper reporting procedures to maintain safety for all, and that includes all of our students as well as staff, maintaining safety of all educational environments, and to make sure that there are clear procedures and instructions for students so that when they are in these transition times, they understand what is specifically expected for them. The last case that I studied was Johnson versus the School District of Millard, and in this case, a school teacher of first grade music was teaching her class, and during this music class, a student was injured. And what had happened was the teacher taught this music, to the song London Bridge, to her students as well as the game, and she explained how it should be played and then let the children play on their own. As the first child went through and the arms were locked around them, then the student was, in his own words, he was swung fast and hard, and what happened is he ended up being thrown into a bookcase, which caused him to have a cut above his right eyebrow. The teacher at the time was at the blackboard. By some reports and other accounts say that she was aiding another child. In this case, for reactive measures, disciplinary action perhaps for the teacher if needed, as well as grievance procedures that are followed. I believe all school districts have a grievance procedure that can be followed when a claim is being made. Proactive measures are reviewing effective supervision for all educational environments. So whether it's the music classroom, a content area classroom, making sure that effective supervision is understood and being followed. The professional ethics that are tied to this case are, first, we need to act in the best interest of our students, and that is when we are preparing for an activity, implementing an activity, and then follow up on if a student does get injured. And then again, just providing that safe educational environment for all. These are all of my resources for this module. Thanks for watching.